Hello, visionary parents. How are you doing? So today is Tuesday, and we are here to do what we know how to do best: empower you with transformational parenting lectures, teachings that will help you move from where you are to where you actually want to be. And today is all about structure. This month is all about structure. So let me start by asking you a simple question. If your child was to run your home, let's say you say, okay, let me give you leadership, or I am not at home, and your child was to run your home, will they run it the way you are running it, or will they run it differently? Will your child's bedtime change? Okay, when you're at home, no bedtime. Bedtime is 8 p.m. When you are not at home, will bedtime become 12 noon or 12 in the night? Will it become 10 p.m.? Okay, you say this is our food menu, this is what we eat when we eat it. When you are not at home, we just say, abeg, let's snack, let's not eat. So when you are at home, they behave in certain way. Behind you, they behave in a different way entirely. Is that what you experience? Now, if that is what you experience, it simply means that your structure has not convinced your child. Your structure is not helping them build their identity. Now, this month is structure in the Visionary Parent Academy. And of course, if you are following me, if you are following this channel, you know that structure is not one thing we are just teaching for the first time. It's something we have taught over and over again over the years. And that is why today, again, we are taking it from a different angle. Structure that builds identity, because Valentine is coming. Yes, and children already are doing all sorts of manners. They're already planning. A child who knows who he is, who knows where he's going, who knows what he wants from life, we behave according. We behave in a specific way. They will not just be random with their behaviors and all of that. So it is why we are building identity. And for us to build our children's identity that aligns with our values, our vision, we need to nurture conviction. And this entire year in the Visionary Parent Academy is all about nurturing conviction. It is where we say we are not forcing, we are reaching the heart of the child. We are shaping their minds. We are helping them build sustainable values, characters. So our structure as humans, as parents, are also what will nurture conviction in our children, what will reach their heart, what will build their identity. Again, I ask you, if you are not at home, or if you just leave your home for your child to run, let's say give them 3 days, run the home, will they follow your structure? I mean, will they do things differently? Earlier today, I was talking to a parent. She was telling me some of the things that are obtainable in her home. I said, fantastic, they are so beautiful. But I want to ask, why are they doing these things? Is it because, oh, I don't want mommy to talk, I don't want mom to be angry, I don't want mommy to flog me? Is that why they are doing it? Or because I don't know what mommy will say, oh, if I do this, mommy, is that why they are doing it? Or because they actually understand why they should be doing it? They understand why they should be doing it, and they believe in that reason. One book I have read over and over again, and read last month in the Visionary Parents, was Is Gifted Hand Rather by Ben Casey. Now, something, each time I think of that book, I just see the need why parents should read it, everyone should read it. There was one thing Ben said. He said, even when their mom was not around, it never occurred to them to disappoint, to don't disappoint now. Their mom told them, okay, every day, go to the library and read. That's during the holidays. I want to believe it's during the holidays. You go to the library and read. You don't watch television more than 2 shows. Now, even when their mom was not around, because the woman, she worked several jobs, so which means that the woman was hardly ever at home. She has given the instruction, but she was not always at home. She will leave like normal 8 to 5 job. So she will leave for her job, but it never occurred to them to break the rule. Even though she was not at home, yes, they could have done it behind her back. After all, mommy is not at home, let's watch television. She will not know. She will have no way of finding out. But it never occurred to them to break the rule. That is what we are talking about. Structure that nurtures conviction, structure that builds identity. It never occurred to them. So I'm asking you now, if you leave your home for your child to run, let's say you are not at home for a week, Will you come back and your home will run smoothly like you run it if you are the one at home? Or by the time you come back, it's a different ball game? Or let's look at your young children, for example. When you go out, when you visit and all of that, they know it's time to sleep. When is that time to sleep? What happens to them? Do they start throwing tantrums, crying all over the place, and everybody telling you, let them now, let them now? Or when they go out and, maybe they go out and someone offers them something. Maybe you don't give them sweets, or you have told them you eat snacks, you don't eat snacks. Maybe you eat, like when my kids were much younger, they had their snacks, they will have their, this Capri Sun, and they will have their biscuit one a day. One Capri Sun a day, one biscuit a day. So nothing else will make me give you extra. So when they go out and someone is offering them extra, they have extra, do they start throwing tantrums? I want it, I want it, I want it. You want to sit down and look at it. Now, these are things that show you that your structure may actually need working on. Or some children, you tell them when someone gives you something, you don't take it. You must show it to mommy. And then for some children, when someone gives them something, they eat it. They don't even come to tell you, These are some of the things I want you to sit back and think about. If I'm not at home, or if I'm not in my comfort readily with my child, will my structure still run? Will I come back and meet the home running smoothly, or is it a different ball game? My name is Enime Orebo, and welcome to the Visionary Parents with Enime Orebo. This is the channel of the Visionary Parents Academy, an academy where parents get empowered. We get empowered to parent differently. Yes, we are not saying that, if you are not in the Visionary Parents Academy, your children will not turn out well. We are just saying that we are intentional. We have a vision. We know where we are going to. We just don't want to raise random human beings. We don't want to gamble it. Oh, no, we want to raise children because we have come to realize that it is not all about money. Raise children who are successful. When the children they are making money, we say they are successful. We have come to realize impact. We want to raise children who think impact. We want to raise children who think legacy, who think impact, who think legacy. We just don't want to raise random children. We don't want to gamble it. We don't want to leave them. They will turn out well. Like people will say, when you can have 10 children, waiting picking go chop, you go now heaven they bring and come. I'm never able to understand that. We want to have a clear vision. We have a clear vision, and we know that for our vision to come to manifestation, we have to intentionally follow the path. There's something I say to my children. I say to them that you all have a vision. You know where you want to go. You may not know maybe the career, the course you are going to take. You don't know the country you are going to settle, but you know the kind of lifestyle you want. You know the kind of adult life you desire for yourself. You know what is obtainable. So I tell them, see, somehow you will not just wake up one day and become that adult you desire to be, or you have the vision of becoming. For example, you won't just play about the street, run about the street, and one day you become a lawyer. I want to be a lawyer. It's not possible. For you to become a lawyer, there are steps to it. You want to major in literature, in English, and in government. You major in that. You go to school, you study every single day. It's not just one day you sleep, you wake up, you press your phone, you jump about, and maybe when you are 25, say, I want to be a lawyer. It doesn't work that way. It's every single day. You do your subject, you go to school, you take courses that are related. Gradually, you go to the university, what is it called, law school, and then you get called to bar and you become that lawyer. The same thing happens in every other aspect of life. You don't want to say, I want to be an adult who is super responsible, and then you just wake up, you expect that you sleep, you wake up one day, you play, you live your normal life, you wake up one day and you become that adult that is super responsible. No. The same way you have to follow the path and you become a lawyer, the same way you have to follow a path that will make that day you become anything you want to become. And for us as parents, creating structure, family systems are some of the ways that our children can actually become that which they want to be. I saw a video yesterday. I was just talking about the Visionary Parents Academy. So that is what we do. We have parents. We come together. We teach. We learn, we ask questions, we grow, we share experiences, we share trending stories, our lessons from trending stories. We meet every single day. We have wake up message. After that, we meet every single day. We read books every month and we review. We reviewed Gifted Hands, The Secret of Sonia Cassin. That was what we reviewed on the 31st of January on Saturday. And this month, this is the book we are reading. We are reading this book, and members have e-copies. Today, I met one of our member. I had to help her with her e-copy and had to read it audio so that she can read along. We read these books, we learn, we build, we grow. Because I always say to parents that you want to model success to your children. You want your children to be successful. You want them to grow. So you have to grow and model it to your children. So we read also. We read, yes, read parenting books, we read non-parenting books because we want to grow. So the Visionary Parent Academy is an academy that is very impactful, very empowering, and I guarantee you that if you join the academy and you take action, your parenting is going to be evident in your parenting. The truth of the matter. It is going to be evident in your parenting. And I say to parents that, see, one of the things you can do for yourself is to get a book. So every lesson you take, and every lesson we go through, you take it down. And the action you intend to take, you put it down. You put your actions down and you take them. At the end of the day, if you choose not to take action, fantastic. When you now wake up, by the end of the day, you realize that, see all I have learned, so I did not take action. You now realize that you have wasted your time and your money because the academy is not free. So I want to encourage you, if you are not in the academy, please hurry up and join the academy, because we are still open for registration this year, and we are closing by the end of the first quarter, which is next month. So please join us in the academy already so that you can enjoy everything we are enjoying. Thank you so much. So let's get started fully. We are talking about how to create a family structure that builds identity. Who your child is, who am I? One of the things I say to parents is, one of the things we want to start with is for our children to understand who they are, who they are becoming, who they were created to become. They are not created to just become a number. They are not just another number. No, they actually have a space. They have a voice. They have a purpose. So, knowing who they are, when we talk about their identity, knowing who they are, is like they know where they are going in life. When you know where you are going, you will not go randomly. You will just follow the path that leads to where you are going. That is what identity is. If our children know who they are, they will not do things randomly. A parent and I were talking today. She was telling me about how her niece was writing a letter. The truth of the matter is, let's look at it this way. If your child understands that, oh, I am a queen, that is who I am. So she will know that she's a queen. She's not to write letters to boys. Let's start from that identity. She's going to carry herself. She's going to do everything queenly. And you are going to reinforce. When we talk about giving your children and having your children understand who they are, their identity. If you tell your child, oh, you are a queen, you don't treat them like a queen. You're already confusing them. It's like I shared something the other day. I was saying that when we say our children want to raise children who are self-confident, and we tell our children, oh, you are confident, you can do everything you set your mind on, and they want to do something, we tell them no. We leave them confused. So our actions don't align with our words. The same thing happens. If your child is building an identity, oh, you are a queen, that is who you are. It simply means as a parent, you have to treat them like one, like the queen you have said they are. When you treat them respectfully, because if they are real queens, they know how queens are treated. Queens are treated respectfully. So you treat them respectfully. If you have a queen and they misbehave, let's even look at it. Let's say you call a child a queen. Let's say there is really a royal family. They have a queen and they give you that queen as a child. Okay, this is a queen. Train this child well. because of the mindset you have that my child is a queen. There are certain ways you are going to treat that child. You are not going to treat the child randomly because you already know the child is a queen. Will the child stop being a child? The child will not stop being a child. But your treatment towards that child, because you are looking at the child from the angle of my child is a queen, so you are going to treat your child differently. The same thing happens if your child has if your child has an identity, they know who they are, you have told them who they are, and your structure around your home actually reinforces, agrees with you, because it's one thing to say that, is another thing to actually have your structure, your atmosphere reinforce that. If you look at, okay, my child is a queen, we look at, because that is what, oh, you are a queen, you are a king, you are a prince, you are a princess. With that, we call our children. Sometimes we even name them queen, princess. Sometimes it's just a pet name we are giving them. But look at the atmosphere in our home. Does it really agree with us calling them prince and princesses? I want you to sit down and think about it. So if you call your child a champion, or you just give your child a name, does your atmosphere at home, does it align? Does it reflect that? Does it agree with the identity you have given your child? If the atmosphere does not agree with the identity, then there is no way your child can actually behave like that, because it just becomes another name. Like they say, nomenclature. It just becomes another name, just a name. So it's not an identity. It is just a random name that the child has. So that is the first thing. We cannot talk about identity. We cannot talk about structure without starting, because you have to build your structure on something. I know structure is about routines. We're talking about routines. We're talking about rhythms, routines, and all of that. But they are not random. So as a parent, you yourself, you need to sit down and understand these things first of all. They are not random. Yes, I always say this to parents, that you want your child to do certain things. There has to be a reason. The reason has to align with your overall vision at the end of the day. That was why one of the first tasks I gave in the Visionary Parents Academy was for everyone to have a vision for their children. If your kids are young, like I said, they are babies. I think I did this on Facebook the other day. They can't create their vision boards by themselves. It's okay. Help them. Create a vision board for them. Put your child's picture at the middle. Put those fancy things, put them. Quotes, put them. Strong words, put them. Describe them, put it around them. Every now and then, carry them on your shoulder. Carry them on your elbow like this. Show them. This is the car. Begin to talk to them about it. Begin to talk about it. They will not understand. They will just, what do they call this thing? Children make. Is it? I'm trying to remember that noise they will make. They will not understand. Yes, but you are programming them. You are helping them think. As they grow older, they see it. Even when their friends come to see them, their cousins come around, you will see how they will drag their cousin's hand to come and see their picture, see the things around their walls and all of that. You are helping them form a mindset, an identity, so they know exactly who they are, where they are going. One thing I always say to parents, that it is not in the one thing we do, because when we have struggles in parenting, or when we have things, we just expect, something like, okay, take 2 tablets of paracetamol and the headache is gone. That is all what we always think. When it comes to parenting, it's not like that. It's about building your system. That is what we are doing this month. Family system. If your children are young, you are super, super in luck, because they don't know what is happening. You are starting already. You have your family pattern, your routine, your reading, your structure. If they are young, you are super in luck. You are starting. By the time they get to, they are now smart, or they are now aware, is already a second nature. And because the truth of the matter is, systems, you can build systems in your home, you can build routines in your home. It still will not help your child form their identity. That is why we see very many homes, they have morning prayers, night prayers every day. When the children grow out, they grow out of the house, like they grow up and they leave the house, they will not have morning and night prayers. Some families, they go to church every Sunday. They must go to church, go for worship, go for midweek service, go for everything. again. At the end of the day, the children, when they get to school, they're out of the house, they will not attend. That's because you see those routines you had as parents did not nurture conviction. Those routines you had, those structure you have, did not form your child's identity, did not give them an identity. So when they're out of the house, it's a different ball game. It becomes a different ball game. So it is why when we talk about structure as a family, we want to use it to nurture conviction. We want to not just, I was asking the parent, why do your children do these things? Is it because they understand the reasons behind them? That is it. They need to understand the reasons behind them. So again, if you are not with us in the Visionary Parent Academy, please come and join us. Come and join us already, because this month you are going to get a lot of resources and you are going to create your family structure. So I was saying that the first thing you want to do in creating your family structure, you want to help your children understand who they are becoming. And I shared this task in the Visionary Parent Academy, and I hope you have done it. If you have not done it, please do it now. Your children need to have a sense of vision, a sense of destination. Your destination determines the direction you are taking. If your children do not have a sense of destination where they are going, we are not just talking about, oh, you are going to become a lawyer, you are going to become an engineer. We are talking about, that was why I said they should sit down and describe how their typical day will look like when they are adults. My children, when I gave them, I said, what is your typical day when you are 25? What will your typical day look like? And of course, they had very fancy things to say. My son talked about football, waking up 4:30. And I was like, football practice, you wake up 4:30. Then I don't have to wake you up. It simply means that, like I said, you cannot just play about and when you are 25, you become a lawyer. The same thing, if you don't learn to build the skills today, when that time comes, you are going to struggle, of course, except at 25, I want to become a lawyer, you will not start all over again. That time, like I always tell my children, even my teenagers in school, by the time you start all over again, guess what is going to happen? You are going to have a lot of things dragging you. Jeez, a lot of things. Then you are grown up, now you are in the house, so you eat free food, free accommodation. Your mom buys everything for you. Your water you drink, you're not paying for it. The clothes you wear, you're not. By the time you are that 25, you are now on your own. Nobody buys anything for you. So you want to become a lawyer. That is when you now start thinking, you want to work extra. You want to save money. You cannot wear the shoe you are supposed to wear. You cannot eat what you want to wear. Because it is what you want, you will not deliberately, because you have missed the opportunity, you will not pay extra. The same thing happens. So you saw when I'm a footballer, I wake up by 4 o'clock, 4:30. If you don't begin to stretch yourself now, if you don't begin to learn it now, when that time comes, you are going to learn it. Just the same way you are making sacrifices to be able to pay yourself through law school, the same way you make sacrifices to be able to not develop that thing then. So when we are saying our routine, wake up early, it's not just because I want you to wake up early. It is because it is towards your vision. So it is why we say we are not talking about structure without talking about vision. When we talk about structure, we want to start talking about vision, because your children will have to understand why this your structure, everything we are talking about, why it benefits them. So one of the materials we are going to have in the Visionary Parent Academy is your family meeting template. You are going to hold a family meeting, a serious family meeting, not a random one, not a pressured one, not a family meeting that says, oh, I'm hurrying somewhere, oh yeah, let's do not the one. A proper meeting where everybody is going to sit maybe around your dining table. There's going to be small chops, there's going to be popcorn, a bottle of Coke, and you are talking about it. We want to create a family structure. Now, if your kids are young, super young, it's okay. You can sit down, discuss these things with them. Look at what your vision. Sorry, not necessarily discuss with them. look at the vision, like say draw a vision board and begin to put things in place. But if your kids are already preteens and teenagers, see, you are still in luck, still amazing. One of the things you want to do is, first of all, look at their vision. Where are they going to? After looking at where they are going to, you now look at what skills you need to get there. Look at the skills that you need to get there. You have skills like focus, you have self-discipline, you have responsibility, you have accountability. These are emotional intelligence, effective communication. These are some of the skills they will need to get to where they are going to. Then you want to sit down with them and look at, okay, do you have these skills present in you already? So you want to now look at, what do you always complain about? What are their weaknesses? What are the clashes you have every now and then as a family? Oh, they don't wake up on time. That is responsibility. They don't wake up on time. Consequences, they like to, when they do something, they are lying, they want to, you want to look at that. Okay, accountability. Accountability is not there. You always have to tell them what to do. Self-leadership is not there. They're always using hurtful words to talk to their siblings and all of that. They are not communicating effectively. When they are angry, they are all over the place. Emotional intelligence is not there. And their room is also always messed up and all of that. Self-discipline is not there. So you want to sit them down and look at these skills they will need. You are building your structures around the skills. Now, this is why I said, if your children are, sorry, I want more light, please. So that's why I'm saying that if your children are preteens and teenagers, you are certainly in luck. So you want to sit them down and look at these things. Remember, it is reaching their heart. It is nurturing conviction. When to nurture conviction, they will have to understand, how is this thing my benefit? How does this thing benefit me? It is not just about today. I said to children, even in church, I tell them almost every Sunday. Even last Sunday, I said the same thing to them. I said, how long are you going to live in this world? If you're going to live 90, 80, how old? You cannot, because of 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 day, to make a mistake that may impact you for the rest of your life. So where you are going to is, if you have a bottle of water and your journey is very far, right? You are going to see how much you can hold back, so that as you go further, you still have enough water to drink. So your journey is very far. You can't afford to make random mistakes now, regrettable mistakes now, that they will impact you in the long run rather. So you want to deliberately sit them down, gather them together. If your children are preteens and teens, you want to teach them these things. We want to create a structure that will strengthen your strength, a structure that will help you realize your vision for your life at the end of the day. This one, I was telling my children, I saw someone wrote about Evan. I don't remember his other name, Evans. You know, that kidnapper of years ago. Someone said, oh, he's been attending Open University and he wants to graduate or something, play bargain, a lot of things. They said he's a changed man and things like that. So I was telling my children about him this morning. I said, this is someone, he's been in jail for a while. He never, I am sure when he was younger, he never thought he would ever end up in jail. And is it up to 10 years now he's been there? And he's been there for a very long time. There are people who are in jail for the rest of their lives. They were sentenced to jail for a crime for all their lives. There are people who have been so addicted to substance and all of that, that their life is so messed up, and their life will be messed up for a long period of their life. Now, this is not your prayer, this is not your plan, this is certainly not part of your vision. So this simply means that, and you just don't wake up and say, oh, I want to be addicted to drug. No, it's about the choices you make. It can even start from friendship, making a friend that is not right. So when we are creating a structure, we are talking about your relationship with people, how you just don't go out and be playing randomly, how you are going to be careful when you make friends, how you don't watch certain television series and all of that, because they are going to impact you negatively. And when they impact you negatively, you are likely going to make choices from how they have shaped you. And those choices may likely sabotage who you want to become. They will derail you. Now, this is why we are putting structures in place. Our structures are not for me, they are for you, because you have a vision. You know where you are going to, and you want to go get there. So you are going to have this conversation. So if you're in the Visionary Parents Academy, one of the things you want to do is you want to remind me after the class for us to share these materials. Coach Jinadu will share them. The first material I'm talking about is our family meeting template. It's just a small material. I talk about holding your family, because family meetings. So at the end of the day, you are holding an effective family meeting where everybody get to contribute. Because sometimes when you are telling children, okay, your teenagers and preteens, these are the things you do that we feel we need to look at, they will be defensive because they've come to that age. I have a 14-year-old. They come to an age where they want to argue. They come to an age when they feel embarrassed knowing that they are wrong. So they come to an age where they are forming their own identity. So you need a family meeting template for you to use for your meeting. So I'll share it with you. Now, even if you have been in the Visionary Parents Academy, you already have all these materials, then, like I said in my voice note this morning, or was it yesterday, that as your children grow older, there is a need, because when you grow older, when my children did their vision, we did a vision ladder. I have the video in the channel. Go and watch it. It's a pre-recorded video. Just watch it when I talked about what I taught my children in church about vision body and all of that. They have a vision ladder. Let me just open it. My laptop is here. Let me see if I can find whose own I can find quickly. Oh, okay. Whose own can I find quickly? I'll just talk about it. Okay, this is my son's own, my 14-year-old. A typical day in my life at 25. I wake up, a typical day in my life. So it is assumed that he is 25 years old already. Or I should even bring my 9-year-old, because his own was initially so hilarious because they wrote it themselves. They wrote it on their own. Okay, wasn't hilarious. It was really smart. It was super smart for a 9-year-old. Yeah, it was smart. Just that. So some of them I'll have to teach them how to make it realistic. So let's say I wake up early at 4:30. I mentioned waking up early. I'm disciplined and focused. I pray, I freshen up, I get ready for the day. Football is part of my life because it keeps me strong, sharp, and disciplined. But it's not the only thing I do. I have learned valuable skills that make people respect me anywhere I go. I eat my breakfast. Let me leave all of that. So going by his vision, I noted key things in his vision. Football as a tool, not necessarily a goal. Skill, discipline, opportunities, disciplined, then skill, discipline, focus on all of that. So I wrote a declaration for him that he would declare upon himself every day based on where he's going. Then I noted key skills he will need. Because he said he will wake up by 4:30, I noted discipline. You will need discipline to wake up by 4:30. Discipline is when we talk about discipline, you need to discipline yourself. Discipline is not pleasant. It was why in those days people used to equate discipline with flogging, because discipline is never pleasant. It simply means you are stretching yourself, you are doing that thing, you are holding back so much, So for example, waking up early, he needs discipline to wake up early. Following through routines, he will need discipline to wake up and follow through routines. Practicing consistently, because you talked about football and studies, you will need discipline. Completing tasks before leisure, you will need discipline to do that. So I recognize one of the skills he needs as discipline. The other skill he needs is time management, because in his vision, he's going to do football. He may take it seriously as a career too. He has other skills, then he has his education. So we are not talking about time management. All those three things he wants to put together, he needs to be able to balance them. So that one will not suffer because of another. So he needs to understand how to balance schoolwork, football, and personal development. He needs to learn how to plan his days effectively. He needs to learn how to prioritize important tasks so that he will know which one is important. He will not just go with the flow or go as the mood allows him. Then we talk about focus and concentration, paying full attention in class because of his vision when it comes to academics, avoiding distractions, staying present during football practice and competition. He needs to always learn how to be in tune with himself. Then we talk about communication and confidence. Okay, if I had finished reading the entire vision, you probably would have seen where all these ones, because he said later I attend a major event where I perform excellently, I use my skill well, people notice my discipline, teamwork and intelligence, I contribute. No, not this one. After the event, people appreciate my work and ask questions, I sign autographs and greet people respectfully. Yeah, okay, he wasn't the one. Okay, I travel for an important event because of what I can do and think, not just how I play. Everything is well, blah blah blah. There was one he wrote about something. Okay, I think it was my other son that wrote about people will invite him to come and talk, so he will motivate people, he will encourage people based on his skills. He wants to be an inventor based on his inventions and all of that. So we broke that down to that means you will learn confidence, public speaking, communication, things like that. People will come and meet you with all sorts of manners. You'll be able to talk to them, intelligently. So let me go further. So we talked about communication and confidence, speaking clearly and confidently, explaining ideas or skills to others, signing autograph, presenting or speaking at events. So we now talked about teamwork and leadership. Of course, teamwork and leadership, working well with others. We talked about problem solving. We talked about self-control and emotions, learning and all of that. I'm just talking about the vision. These are skills you will need based on the vision, based on where he is going to. So now he knows by himself. Like I said, you want to become a doctor. You just don't play, live your life randomly and you become a doctor. No. Let's say you are 16 now, your mate are 16. You just live your life randomly. Your mates are becoming doctor at 25, you become a doctor at 25. It doesn't work that way. There are steps you have to take. So if he has that vision for himself, now these are skills he needs to build over time that will help him become that person. Now remember, we are not just talking about him having this vision as another random person. No, we are raising children who are purposeful, children who realize that they are in this life to make impact, children who understand, who think legacy, who think impact, who actually think what they bring to the table of the society. That is what we are doing, intentionally raising them. We can as well just wing it. After all, people are also, what we call success randomly. People are not putting in and they are getting. We can as well just choose to wing it, but we are not winging it. We are not winging it because we have a vision. So now, let me take it down. I was talking about the vision ladder. That was what brought us here. Now that we have the vision clear, we have looked at the skills they will need to achieve that vision, to realize that vision, because even the Bible has said to us that I don't know how to explain this, quote this particular, which man wants to build a house that doesn't first sit down to put the cost into consideration? If you are here with me, you understand that part of the scripture, please put the quote, put the Bible passage down. I don't know, I can't just get it now. Which man want to build a house that will not first sit down to take account the cost? That is it. So for our children, you have a vision. There's a place you are going to. So you want to first of all sit down and ask yourself, what does it take you to get there? What are the things you will need? Those were the skills I just talked about for my own son's vision. Then after that, we are now looking at these skills are what we are going to structure around our daily lives. So I was talking about vision ladder. Now the ladder is you breaking down the skills. That's the life you want to live at 25. Good and fine. You are not going to jump into that life at 25. So what is going to happen? You are going to look at, what do I need at 14? What do I do at 14 that will bet the results at 15, at 16, that will eventually lead to it at 25. So I broke it down at 14. He's in JSS 3, he's 14. Is it 14 or 13? I think it's 14. It's in JSS 3. Junior WAEC skills starts, because at 14 you are doing junior WAEC. Focus on exam preparation, discipline, positive skills building, practical steps. You are going to wake up early, You are learning to wake up early now because you want to wake up early. You wake up early, you pray, you plan the day. You study core subjects, math, English, basic science, the subject that will help you for that vision you want. You revise past questions, your past questions, you revise your mock test, you do mock tests, you take mock tests, you practice football for fitness, discipline, and teamwork. During junior WAEC break, you start learning the skill practically every 30 minutes to 60 minutes a day. You journal, studies, football progress, reflect daily, and all of that. At the end of the day, these all skills, they are helping you grow your discipline, prepare for junior WAEC, learning the skill that will channel your energy. Let me look at one. So that's 14. So when he's setting his goals at this age, his goals he's setting this year, they are going to be goals that reflect these things. For my 9-year-old, his own are more broken. Why? Because my teenage son already understands a lot of things. But my 9-year-old, for example, if I can find his own, I will show you. Let me see if I can find his own quickly. I'll show you some of his daily goals. Okay, I'm seeing his folder. Open. Okay, fantastic. I'm 25. I'm a creator. I work on creative projects and build things that people admire. During the day, I'm called to speak at events. When it is time, the bell rings and I quickly dress up and I prepare myself and all of that. When I return home, I tell my personal assistant, blah blah blah, and all, and all of that. So you can see their vision. So I noted the key things in his vision, and of course I gave him a declaration. I also noted the core skills he needed in his vision. I noted communication, creativity, discipline, confidence, emotional intelligence, faith and conviction, because he talked about God, organization, respect for authority, and all of that depend on his vision. If you look at them, you realize that their skills are not super the same because of where they are going to. Because when we are discussing this thing, they should know that it is customized to meet their needs. Their vision is not just something random, because their visions are different. So let me share with you. So my 9-year-old is in primary 4. So his first rung on the ladder that he will build, he is 25. The first one is morning routine, habits, identity, confidence, and practical steps. Morning routine: wake up, dress, breakfast, school preparation, short talks, because he said he will speak, public speaking. So he want to practice it now. He want to be confident. So when the time comes, be easy for him he will just speak naturally, fluently. Short talks at home, church. So he will have to volunteer in church more, take up recitations and all of that in church. Then he will also have to, in school, agree to speak, debate and all of that, church, to build confidence. Creative projects. I was telling someone just now that there was a place near me, not on the way to their school, where they mounted Christmas lights during the Christmas. It was just on the place. It was a lot of Christmas lights, just a major road. If you're in Lagos, you will know how they do that Adeola Adeku area, Zenith Bank, that Christmas light. It was something like that they replicated. It was just a long stretch of Christmas light. So when they removed the Christmas light, there was something they used in hooking them. They now cut it, one kind of how do I call it now? It's rubber. It's common. I don't know the name. So they use it. So every time we pass them, my son will tell me, "Mommy, I want to pack this thing. Mommy, I want to take." What do you need them for? He keeps telling me he wants to take them. So the other day on Friday, I just told him, "Okay, we are going to walk past the place because of you." To walk past the place. And guess what? He packed and packed and packed and packed. I'm not stopping him from packing it, because it's actually, he said he wants to be an inventor. Fantastic. So he wants to learn how to invent things. So I've told him also another thing he wants to do as an inventor, because you cannot just invent random things. So you have to keep looking at problems around you, and creating solutions. What can you do to make this problem go away? So those are the things you invent, because inventors invent solutions to mankind's problem. So he packed those things, and he's been using them. He has shown me bicycle, he has shown me human being, he has shown me horse, that he has used the thing to make. Because when the things were there, I just thought they were dirty. Frankly, it didn't make sense to me at all. I couldn't even think what he could probably make with those things. So I was surprised. The other day, "Mommy, do you know what it is? A bicycle?" I said, "It looks like a bicycle, really." So So inventive, a creative project, drawing, writing, building, memorize 2 to 3 verses of the Bible, then do daily prayer, focus on school subjects, complete homework, read a book a month, watch successful people, read about successful people, pick up chores around the house, always look for problems and find solutions to them, offer to help all the time. So these actually are because of the vision. So when we are creating a structure, that is age 4. It's age 13. It's different. Take on leadership roles in clubs and school. Begin preparing for senior secondary school. Another one, age 16 is different, age 17 is different, age 24, 25, they are all different. So now these are their vision, these are the ladder, every day that leads to the vision. So when you create something like this with your children, your preteens and your teenagers, they understand this. You know, like I said, it's not really about what course you want to study. You can begin to use lifestyles, people around you, lives they are living, making impacts. You know, and one of the things we can do, we can constantly program them by exposing them to these things. Keep exposing them in the little way we can. Teach them about leadership, the advantages of it, what you do. Each time I go to speak, I come back, very many times, I come back, no matter if I'm giving honorarium, I make sure I bring it home and I explain to them what it is. I remember just this year that ended. So my children's school PTA, they gave us parcel. I'm part of the PTA school. I didn't even know. When I got to school, they just gave us a parcel, vegetable oil, tomato paste, and seasoning, and some other things. They just put them together and gave us. When I got home, I showed my children. I said, this thing was given to me because I am a PTA school. It wasn't given to every parent. Now, if it was given to every parent, they probably would have given me extra. That's recognition of my contribution. I am not contributing. I didn't know they were going to give us anything. So I am not part of the ESCO because of what I was going to get. No, but they gave it to me. What does that tell you? I am making an impact. I'm contributing. So my contribution brought this. You know, these little things are ways we teach our children what is important, and why these things are important. If you have read Gifted Hands, you realize that each time Benkasi's mom returned from work, she would tell them, I went to work at this home today. This is what I met them doing. This is how rich people behave. Because her vision was to raise rich children who were wealthy, who were financially successful. That was her vision. And she will come back and tell them, this is what they do. Rich people, they read. Rich people, they have big television, but they don't sit down all day watching television. So because my vision for you is to be rich, to be financially comfortable, is understandable because of where she's coming from. You too, you are going to read. You too, you are going to watch less television because the rich people I work with, they watch less television. You too are going to watch less television. So you too are going to spend more time reading. Even when Curtis, the older son, was asked to go to a technical school instead of a university, because she has seen that, because her vision was so that her children would be rich, and she had seen that the rich people she worked with, they went to school. She went to the school and said, no, my child will not go to a technical school, my child will go to a university because the rich people I work with, they went to a university. So every time she used that to teach. So as a parent, you have your vision also. You are using that to teach every single time. I tell my children every single time, my teenagers in church, I tell them, in fact, I'm sure they are tired of hearing me, because they'll be saying, this woman. So I tell them, if I knew these things when I was growing up, I had a lot of opportunities. I sabotaged myself because I did not know better. And I gave them practical examples, using my life as an example. The other time I was teaching them something, I was using myself. It was like it was like a healing for me. Like I shared on Facebook one time, teaching teenagers is like a healing for me because I made mistakes growing up. I do not want them to make the same mistakes. So teaching them it's therapeutic. It's just me trying to live my teenage life through them again. using them to correct those things I did and I did not do well, or those opportunities I did not have, or I was not confident enough to grab. Okay, that is it. So we want to constantly rub their vision in their face, rub it on their face, let them see where they are going to, let them know where they are going to, and let them know how to get there, and let them keep working towards there. Okay, so I've talked about this vision ladder, for example. So let's go back to our structure. I hope I'm not closing what I'm doing though. Okay, I hope I'm not closing this. So okay, fantastic. Okay, so let's go. We've talked about vision ladder. So you've talked to your teenagers and your preteens about their vision, about where they are going to, about how, if you have the e-copy of Gifted Hands, you will see the first note there is it was Ben's mom, that she always told her children that you are the captain of your ship. Your life belongs to you. That is what I say to my children. Your life belongs to you. Every single thing you do is for your own good. Even worshiping God is for your own good. Even listening to God is for your own good. Obeying God, it is for your own good. So your life belongs to you. I always tell them that I am doing you a favor. Every single thing I do is me doing you a favor. Me telling you to wake up early is doing you a favor, because I know that your vision, you have a vision, and in your vision, you are going to wake up early. So if you don't learn it now, you are going to struggle and you are going to sabotage yourself. Me telling you to talk politely is me doing you a favor, because you have a vision. I was telling my son, I said, you want to speak, like we have put it here, you want to speak. If you don't know how to talk politely, if you don't know how to communicate effectively, people will not want to listen to you. If you are someone, your knife is sharp, your mouth is sharp like a dagger, people will not call you to speak. So when you host your event, people will not even come there. Because how would people want to come and listen to someone who destroys them? Nah, nobody wants that. So at the end of the day, if I tell you, okay, every weekend, practice public speaking, you're not practicing it for me. If I tell you, when you talk to your sister, be polite, you're not doing it for me. I may get upset, I may have a family consequence you follow, but in the in the long run, in the overall scheme of things, you are not doing it for me. So let's go. We have talked about structure. We have talked about vision. We can't talk about structure without talking about vision. So we are talking about vision. Like I said, for us to start our vision, we have to know, for us to start our structure, we have to know, who are you raising? Who are you raising? If you are a nurse, for example, you realize that the way you run towards your work is not the same time. In fact, nurse, doctors, journalists, they are special people, right? That is why when we have curfew and things like that, we still allow them. So who are you raising? That's the first thing. What kind of adult should come out of this home? That's the first thing you want to know. What kind of adult should come out of your home? What have your children decided they want to be? Those are the very first things you need to sit down and look at. And you are not the one just determining, oh, your children, they will have to come out and agree with you. Your spouse also will have to agree with you. We can't be random. See, I was telling someone one time, I said, you don't want to raise a child. Sit down and ask yourself, who are you raising? You will say, oh, you don't want to raise a child who will end up in jail, right? For domestic abuse or anything. But if your atmosphere, if in your home, I said, let's say you have a spouse who is very abusive, and you are abusing your partner, and that your partner is something that, okay, she's very tolerant or he's very tolerant, he doesn't say anything, just keeps quiet and absorbs everything. I said, your child may not end up marrying someone who doesn't keep quiet. And because your child has learned to abuse from that person, your child then starts abusing that person, and the person gives your child back. Domestic violence will happen, and your child ends up in jail. It is because even though you had the vision of a child who is free, who is fulfilled, your structure, your atmosphere in your home did not nurture that which will help you achieve that vision or realize that vision or accomplish that vision, however you want it to be. Now, this is why, as a parent, you need to also know who you are raising, because who you are raising will determine what you are going to put in place. The things you are going to put in place. Who are you raising? Let's go. Who are you raising? What kind of adults should come out of your home? Examples. Let me give you examples of the adults I want to come out of my home. Adults that are disciplined and responsible. Adults that are God-fearing and self-controlled, respectful and resilient. Disciplined and responsible. Self-control. I want to raise adults who are self-controlled. I want to raise adults who are God-fearing, because I know what it means to be God-fearing. It means to think of God. That is why in our family, in my own family value, we have, what is the first thing? Obedience to God. If you have followed me long enough, you will know this thing. I always give them every year in the Visionary Parent Academy. Maybe we should do it this year. Acronym. Your surname is an acronym of your value system in your home, because you always say, do you know the son of who you are? Who are you really as a family? You know the family you are coming from. What defines your family? What defines your family? You know the family you are coming from. Which family are you coming from? I'm coming from a family of, and we are the Oruebos. What does it mean to be the Oruebos? It means we are obedient to God. The Oruebos are obedient to God. Now, what does it mean to be obedient to God? It simply means that I want to sit down and ask myself, is this what God wants from me? Is this what God wants me to do? You know, and I said to my children, what God wants from you, what God wants you to do is for your own good. There is nothing that God wants from you that is not for your own good. Bring any portion of the Bible. When I first taught this to teenagers, they were telling me, but God said, I'm a jealous God, do not worship any other God aside of me. How is that for my own good? I told them, what does it mean to worship any other God? Let's look at people that believe in Babalawo, they don't believe in God. What happens to them? Babalawo will tell them, go and bring goat, go and bring cow. Now Babalawo has increased it to go and bring human blood. Then you go and kill somebody and you are caught in the process and you are taken to jail. Is that, make it make sense? Is it not for your own good? If you say, it's only God I serve, God will never tell you to bring a human being. God will not tell you to bring goats, bring anything. What God wants from you is just for you to love your neighbor as yourself. That is what God wants. And you loving your neighbor is for your own good. Yes. Because if you love your neighbor, you are friendly to your neighbor too, they will love you in return. They'll be friendly. They'll give you opportunities. So everything at the end of the day is for your own good. So I want to raise children who are God-fearing, who understand God for themselves. Children who have self-control, who can face temptation and say, no, it is not for me. Who know where they are going to. What is self-control? Because the flesh is always dead. Even when the spirit is willing, the flesh is dead. So when we talk about the flesh being dead, we are talking about not being able to say no to distractions. We are talking about not being able to say no to temptations. But when they have self-control, they can control their flesh. So even when the flesh is rearing its ugly head and saying, do this, they are going to be able to say no to their flesh. I have self-control, so I am not going to give in to the very next temptation that is knocking at my door. So I want to raise children with self-control. I want to raise children who is respectful and who are resilient. You know what it means to respect people. They respect authority. They respect people. You open doors for them. Children who are resilient. Life will always throw a lot of things our way, a lot of challenges. In church on Sunday, one of my teenagers was talking about people choose to be depressed. Excuse me. Sorry, please, I want to get more air, more light. One of my teenagers was talking about people who are depressed. They choose to be depressed, you know. And we're trying to tell him that not necessarily, because life can throw a lot of challenges. People are depressed when they do not have the right coping mechanisms. They don't learn. They don't know how to actually cope with the challenges of life. Because the truth of the matter is, you may not readily learn how to cope with all the challenges of life. You may not. You may not learn how to cope. A parent gave a testimony in my church one time, and she said that last year she failed. That all her life she had never failed. Why she didn't go into depression was because of her children and her husband. They stood by her. That's why she did not go into depression. That all her life she had never failed. That is it. There is no way life may not expose you to all the ups and downs now. So the ones that you may not really have the core skills to prepare for, what happens when life throws that at you? Like she said, she has never failed. So maybe when she graduated, she looked for a job, she saw a job. When it was time for her to get married, she got married. Time for her to have children, she had children. Nothing ever delayed for her. There are people like that. Nothing ever delayed for her. So maybe for the first time, she wanted to do something, venture into something on her own that did not require all the easy way she has always gotten. And that was when things stirred at her. She realized, life is not always as easy as it has always been for me, So my teenager was talking about, depression. People choose to be depressed. I said, no. Many times it's actually because people don't have the right capacity. They don't have the right skills to cope with the events of life that can actually push someone into depression. Because, hey, you have to start learning how to cope. Learning itself, that one it takes a lot for you to learn. So you have to start learning how to cope. So resilience is key for me. Resilient children. So now, this is it. After you have known these things, you have sat down, you have taught your children, then you now begin to build structures. Because you have taught them, it is easy for you to say, okay, this is the path you are going to. What are we going to put in place for you to start learning? Because life is even structured. I have a friend who always wants to talk about, when we talk about structure, organization, and others, she will always like to use God. She will always tell her children that God is structured, God is organized. And I agree very well. Even when I'm teaching my children, I also tell them something. I also say that, see, imagine God who could have done everything just like this. He wanted to do them one by one. He started by creating light. Why? Because he needed light to see other things to be done. That is light. And also tell them, that is why, look at the order of things. Before you eat, before you harvest, you will plant. If you don't plant, what will you harvest? That is it. So, because you are moving towards harvest, you plant, you water, you will weed, you will do all sorts of manners. So, having taught your children that, it's time to put the structure now in place. Now, for the Visionary Parent Academy, if you don't have a structure, I'm going to give you the parenting structure guide. Now, that structure guide, it is going to cover every single area that you need to structure in your parenting. I saw a video yesterday. It's by this popular skit maker. Are they skit maker or content creators? Lolo Mbakara. He was telling his son, you have been misbehaving. For that reason, you want to be allowed. Come and be allowed. I'm taking you out. You're no longer coming to my house. Part of my house. Go. She took the boy, I think it was in the night, to the road, and that was where the video ended. Now, she may have done that for content, but it is the reality of very many parents. Empty threats all of the time. Empty threat all of the time. And guess what happens? When you threaten your children, when it's empty, your children don't take you seriously. They don't take you seriously. They are going to repeat that thing over and over again. You are going to, because you keep making empty threats. So what structure does for you as a parent, it removes that empty threat. It creates routines, readings, systems in your home. It is predictable. The children know exactly what to do. It is not even negotiable. Yes, structure can be flexible, but it is not negotiable. Each time I talk about structure, I want to talk about buildings. They are there, structured. You come back, you meet them. You go, you meet them. That is how structure is. Now, this is why you don't wake up and say, oh, structure. You must have a vision, a reason. That vision will determine your values as a home, as a family. That's the ladder you are taking to your vision. So that ladder will now determine what you are going to structure in your home. For example, like Benkati's mom, she said less TV and more reading. That was a structure. Consistency. And guess what? It was because she had what she wanted. She was going somewhere. So she did not just, even when her friends, because structure will build your, when you have a vision, it will boost your, it will help you parent with confidence. When her friends were telling her that your children will hate you because you are always making them read, because she had a vision, she knew where she was going, she knew why she wanted them to keep reading, she was not moved, she did not shake, because she had a vision. So it is when you do not have a vision, very many times we just copy and paste. Someone is doing it, we are doing it. It seems fancy, we are doing it. We are overwhelmed. When we are overwhelmed, we react. Our vision, our structure will not be consistent. And if your structure is not consistent, it's not going to work. Because one thing about structure is that what makes it a structure is the consistency of it. The building I'm talking about, it is on one position, permanently there. That is what makes it a building. So for your structure as a parent, it is permanently there. That is what makes it a structure. Whether come rain or come sun or somebody comes to your house. Or for example, you say, okay, in my home, in my family, we don't watch television until 4 o'clock, until everyone has done their chores. We don't do television. Then you have someone comes to greet you and they say, oh, my baby will be crying, oh, put on television, and your kids have not done their chores. It is a no. The person coming to your house should know that you have a structure. I'm not doing it to punish you. I'm not doing it because I do not respect you. I respect you. I appreciate you coming to visit. But one thing you should realize that I have an assignment. I have a responsibility. Now, if I say no, I am leaving them confused. So I am making them not trust me. I am making them feel like I'm a bully. That, oh, because they are my children or because I'm older than them, it is why they can watch. I can say no. I control them. No. So every time, if you say, okay, that is why we have my family constitution, something you're also going to get. Because, for example, if I say, okay, for my kids, you only take one snack a day. And then, you only take one snack a day. And then you now have someone else come to my house, and what the person has trained their children with is snack. They keep eating that snack all the time. My children are now going to wonder, that person is eating snack all the time. That is why we have my family constitution that sets boundaries. Because structure is about routines, structure is about boundaries, structure is about everything that keep your family seamlessly flowing towards your vision, that keeps you reinforcing your values all of the time. That is structure. So my family structure guide, I'm going to give it to you, and we are going to talk about it in the academy. You are going to see everything we have. We have structure for time. We have structure for space. For example, what are the things that actually make you, that trigger you as a mom, as a dad? Those things that trigger you, you are going to first of all sit down and ask yourself. Like I hear parents say, oh, my children, they jump all over the living room. I said, that is okay. If that triggers you, then you have structure for space. They should have a space where they play. So that way, that will not trigger you. They have their room. They play in their room. It cannot trigger you. So it creates different aspects of your structure. One thing that structure does, like I said, it is consistency. Your children repeat it all the time. So it's not just a mood thing. For example, if you tell your child that for you to buy, let's say, okay, like a parent in the academy was talking about, the parent, if you're in the academy, you should know the parent that talked about the boots for the child. For example, the child that got the boot from a friend. For example, your child tells you, mommy, I want something. Because as a family, you know that you don't have bulk money. Maybe you are a salary earner or something. You can decide, okay, my children, everyone is going to have pocket money every week. You're going to have 1,000 naira. This 1,000 naira, you are going to keep it. What are you keeping it for? So that when you need something impromptu, you will get it. So I am not pressured. Now, this money is not for snacks, it's not for anything. It is for you to, when you need something impromptu, you can just go and get it. Like, so when my child needs something, I'll go and get it. So that is a structure around some aspect of your finances, of your children's needs. And of course, you would have taught them about needs and wants. And you would have explained to them why the money is coming that way. So you are going to have my parenting structure guide. And if you already have it, fantastic. Every year you review your family, you review your structure, you review your system. What is working for you? What is not working for you? What is working for you, you want to replicate. You want to make sure that they are not just working for you on the surface. Rather, they are actually nurturing conviction. Again, we are nurturing conviction. We do not want to force our children. We don't want to raise children who are two-faced. We don't want, when we are away from the home, our children are doing a different thing. Because, for example, you ask your child, okay, your sleeping hour is 8 o'clock or 8:30. And when you are at home, you enforce that. But when you leave the house, your children sleep 10, 11. It means one thing. Your children do not understand yet why they are not convinced. They do not understand yet why they need to sleep 8 o'clock. So now this is why it's not just you forcing them. 8 o'clock is bedtime. No, before 8 o'clock is bedtime, they have to understand why. They need to understand why. When they understand why, so even when you are not at home, they know that, I need to wake up early to go to school. Now, because I need to wake up early to go to school, I need to sleep on time. So it's not you forcing them. They just know that they need to wake up early to go to school. I hope that is gotten. Okay, so let's look at some of the things. I've shared enough for you to understand some things. You know, when you have structure, you are not random in your parenting, because one of the things that actually creates confusion in our children, that creates misbehavior, is unpredictability. When you are random, when parents are always threatening, like the woman that took her child all the way to the street, I'm leaving you here, you are going. That was complete nonsense. Because guess what? Tomorrow the child is going to do the same thing. The event may just traumatize the child for a while. The night, the fear. The next day, when the child gets home, that very day, he's going to do the same thing. He's going to do the same thing. Because you have sent him out, you even escorted him, you got there, you came back. That is what lack of structure does. Because you don't have a structure in your home, you are authoritarian, you are random, you are pressured. If you are happy, the children know, because you allow them. You are allowing when you are happy. When you are sad, the children know, because when you are sad, you are all over the place with tantrums, with anger, and all of that. When you have a lot of money, the children know. You are spoiling them silly without boundaries. When you are broke, they know. You are cranky and you are managing. No. Structure simply means that this is how things are going to be done. And of course, it is towards your vision at the end of the day. I saw the woman who was giving her children, who said no meat in their food, and they didn't want to eat. They were angry, and so she recorded it, that they didn't want to eat because there was no meat in their food. So she was recording them. That is what we talk about, lack of structure. What is the mindset behind you wanting them to eat without meat? That mindset, to create it around your structure. It's not just one day, because when you wake up one day and do it, it's as if you are bullying them, because you are the mom. So you choose what goes. You are bullying them. So it doesn't convince them. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't convince them. It doesn't make sense to them. You are just bullying them. So let's look at some of the structures you are putting in place and why they matter. For example, you said wake up time. In the morning, when you create your structure, you're going to create your routine. Wake up time. Why do you need to wake up when you need to wake up? Discipline. If your children can wake up 5 o'clock, 5:30, it is discipline, because they are going to school. If they are going to school, they need to wake up, they need to do their chores, say their prayers, affirmation, maybe they have memory verse they memorize. They need to do all these few things. They are learning discipline. You have study hours in your structure. You have study hours. Okay, let's say every day by 7:30 to 8 o'clock, we revise our school work. You are helping them focus. Focus. You have chores. This is the chore for you. You do this chore. You do this chore. You are helping them learn responsibility. Then you have, okay, if you do not do this, this is what will happen. Accountability. They know that someone is holding them accountability. It is going to help them behave. Let's go. Now, when we talk about all this I've just talked about, to create your structure now, you have to build your predictable daily routine. Remember, I've talked about vision though for my children. I shared some of them with you. I already know them. Now, the skills they will need, the skills that will build them every day, and will build them into our routine every single day. So, for example, we have predictable routine. We have wake up time, the time they wake up. Now, this is your structure, the time they wake up. School days is not negotiable. The time they study, it is not negotiable. The time they rest is not negotiable. We have other things we do, you know. Now, they also have responsibilities they do. What are the responsibilities? You have church charts. Everyone has their responsibility they do. Everyone has a role they play in the home. It's not negotiable. All these things they are learning towards their own vision. They are building skills to be able to realize their vision at the end of the day. They have their own rooms they are going to tidy. All these things are spelled out. Everyone is aware of it. Even how they communicate to each other, it is spelled out. The things we say, the things we do not say, these things are spelled out. And I'm going to give you a template, a blank template, for you to go and write them out. Everything. You have a blank template. Wake up time. What time should they wake up in the morning? What time should they go to bed? What time should they watch television? What time should they, how many hours should they spend watching television? What other things? Do they have skills they are learning? What time would they learn the skills? What day of the week or what time should they learn the skills? Chores. What are their chores that they do at home? What chores do they do at home? How do they do it? When do they do it? How do they play in the house? What kind of play do they play in the house? Where should they play the play? Should they play their football in the living room and break the television and break the light bulbs and all of that? You know, should they play water play in the living room and mess up the entire living room? No. Where do they play the play? You are going to have visitors in your house. How do they behave when they have visitors in your house? Are they free to enter your visitor's room all the time? Will they be asking your visitor, what do you bring for me? What do you bring for me? Will they be telling your visitor, come and buy something for me now? Come and buy something for me now? Will they see your visitor eating and the next thing, their eyes are falling off, they want to eat? If these are not part of if you say no to this, why do you say no to this? How does this thing in the overall, how is it linked to their vision? How does it even benefit them today? How does it now lead to their vision, to their vision in the overall? You are going to put this thing down. Now let's talk about communication. How do they communicate with one another? When their sibling offend them, how do they communicate that their sibling has offended them? How do they communicate with one another? Is another thing you're also going to put down. Now, after putting all these things down, what are the consequences? If they break these rules, what are the consequences? You're also going to have this consequence. One thing I encourage parents to do, parents of preteens and teenagers, after creating your structure, and we are going to give you two materials, your structure, not two materials, 4 materials, in fact, a lot of materials. You are going to have my family vision guide to help you create your family vision. I'm going to give you a sample of one of my children's own. You are going to have, which other one again? My parenting structure guide. You're going to have a blank template to create your own. You just take it to the cyber cafe and print. If you cannot print it, just do it yourself. Just use your hand to write them out. You just want to have specific things, how you want things to run in your home specifically. That is basically it. How you want things to run. that you are going to have my family constitution. So one of the things I say to parents, like I said, you want to start by having your children. They are the ones that will tell you. The children are preteens and teens. They don't want to tell you what they see, what their future, how they want their future to look like. And I say the best way to do this is not what you want to become. The best way to do this is for them to sit down and imagine. Imagine yourself. You are 30. How does your typical day look like at 30? What will you be doing? Where will you be? What will you be eating? Who will you be talking to? Wake up in the morning, what will you do? Like, tell them to write your to-do list at 30. What will you do in the morning, in the afternoon? Maybe I'll give that to my kids now. Write your to-do list. You are a 30-year-old girl, a woman. Write your to-do list. You know, when they sit down, they write all of that. You will not tell them the story I just told you. You are a lawyer. You cannot say you want to be a lawyer at 30 and you are running about. You have to be going to do all the things that will help you become a lawyer at that 30. The same thing, all these things you want to be at 30, there are skills you will need. Not if 30 is even too far. Tell them 18. Tell them 18. Tell them 24, 25. You need skills that you want to learn, practice every single day. You know, so you are not going to come down and tell them, okay, if you want to be this at 18, you need these skills. If you don't start practicing it now, when are you going to learn them to become that? So if you don't learn them, you are not going to become that. So you need to start learning them now, so that at 18, you will become that, right? Fantastic. So you now look at what their current struggles are, what their current strengths are. You will now say, okay, what are we going to put in place? This structure we want to create is we are going to help you. The structure is for you to help you learn these things. So after putting the structure in place, after creating the structure, we're not going to talk about the consequences, because consequences hold you accountable. It's not because I want to punish you. It's just something to hold you accountable. Even in developed countries, that things are working. My sister always tells me that, you feel that things are working. Things are working here because the system holds them accountable. They know that if they misbehave, even government, for example, individuals sue government. Individuals sue, it's not like Nigeria when they keep adjourning. Your hair, you go old. Your hair will white for hair. They will still be adjourning. No. In those countries, they get justice sharp. That is why we see a lot of unimaginable cases online. I saw one time. The woman was suing the boy's mother for negligence. What happened? She said the boy brought drug to school. The daughter took the drug. So she now came to court to sue the boy's mother for being careless. And the boy's mother said the husband died of a terminal illness. Before the husband died, those were the drugs the husband was taking. So they were inside the husband's drawer. Now this boy, missing the father, a teenager, went to the drawer, opened the drawer, was not seeing a lot of those things. So the boy now went to school and was not telling the friends that he saw some of these things in his father's drawer. So the girl now said that was one of the drugs. That's a hard drug, that the boy should bring it to school. The boy said no. The girl started blackmailing the boy, that he saw the boy and another boy. So he's going to tell them that the boy was gay. He was blackmailing the boy. So because the boy now felt, okay, he had no choice. He didn't want the girl to embarrass him. Everybody be laughing at him. He now took the drug to school. That was that. The girl took it, and of course she was misbehaving, and the mother now said it was sorry. I just share that story. It's unrelated though. So I'm saying that because they have a system that holds them accountable, it is easy for them to behave. So for your child, you also want to tell your child that the consequences are to hold you accountable. So each time you are derailing, we are currently reading this book now in the Visionary Parent Academy. If you are not with us, come and join us. We are currently reading this book. So the author was talking about having a flight plan. You know your destination, you have a flight plan. He said sometimes you will derail. Yes. But what matters the most is that you know where you are going to. You find your way back quickly. You find your way back. That is what matters. So the same thing with your children. You want to tell them that the consequences are to hold you accountable. When you are derailing, they are to, like a reminder, that painful pinch that, oh, I've missed the spot, let me quickly go back. That is what the consequence for. Then you now go back to that is where I'm coming to. For your participants, you are now going to write an agreement. We have a structure. This is the time we come home. This is the time we come home every day. This is the time we wake up in the morning. This is the time how we do our chores. This is the time we eat our meal. This is what we do during the weekend. We have family time. Everybody is part of the family. This is kind of our communication. This is how we talk, our language in the house. We don't insult people. We are not abusive. We don't fight. You never raise your hand to hit your sibling. When you go to school together, you come back together. You check on your siblings. We don't watch television beyond 8 p.m. And even when we watch television, these are the channels we watch. We don't watch random channels. We put them together. When you dress, you must wear your trousers properly to your waist level and tie your belts. When we have visitors in the house, you don't have any business in their room, so you don't go to their room. These are the reasons, you know. And at the end of all of that, we go to church every Sunday. Everybody go to church cheerfully. Every Sunday we fast. We don't go to church. We go to church on our bare stomach. You are not going to church to start picking things and eating. When you get to church, you are not wandering about and loitering about like other people, because you need to sit and also learn. Of course, if you want to pee and there's need for you to go out, you go out. But you are not caught. You are not one of those children that are caught outside running about and roaming about when the service is going on. No. When you are giving your offering money, use it for your offering and nothing else. When anything happens, you tell your parents the truth so that they can just have all your own rules, regulations for your home you have written down. And at the end of the day, because your teenagers, they understand how it impacts them, how it's about them, they sign. You have your agreements and you have your consequences. So whenever they misbehave, they default, you present it, evidence against you. According to section 10, subsection 20 of the Orobos Family Constitution, you are hereby sentenced to write an apology letter to yourself for disappointing yourself, to God for disappointing God, to your family for disappointing your family, and to your future self, and to the person you probably wronged for being mean with your words. You are hereby sentenced to writing 4 or 5 apology letters at the same time, sitting down to reflect on what you have done, why you did it, the options you had, and the option you are going to take next time. And also the Bible passage that kind of teaches you the skills, that empowers you with the skills to make better options next time. You're also going to read it. And of course, you're going to come to the family and make a public apology to the family. You are sentenced to that. So, hey, that's just some of the things in our family constitution, some of the things your children will get when they misbehave, some of the things in the family constitution that we use to correct them, because it's not necessarily to really punish them, it's to actually help them, to discipline them. Now, this is about it. Like I said, if you're in the Visionary Parents Academy, you are going to get my parenting vision guide, structure guide, family meeting template, the plain structure, and my family constitution. If you are not in the Visionary Parents Academy, you want all these materials, good and fine. You just pay a token of 10,000 naira, and I will give you all these 5 materials I mentioned. A token of 10,000 naira only. You get all these 5 materials I mentioned, and I promise you that they are very, very empowering, impactful materials. You pay now, you get them now into your WhatsApp or your email. You begin to work with them, and when you get them, you go through them. Within the first 2 days, you can ask questions. Reach me directly. Ask me questions on how you can go through them, what you can do, how you can make amends or adjust, and I will just help you. I will guide you for the 2 days, and after the 2 days, on your own. But if you're in the Visionary Parent Academy, you get them for the next 1 year. You will use them, you will ask questions, you will come to the academy, you will come privately, we will talk about them, we will keep guiding and everything. So that is it about today. Remember, it's our month of parenting, building our structure in our home. Is our must to build our structure in our home. So please, like I said, your structure is the engine of your home. It's what you do when you have a structure, your home runs smoothly. You will have less headache because your children just know what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and they know what can happen if they do not do it. And apart from that external motivation of knowing the consequence of when they do not do it, they also have intrinsic motivation because it is for themselves. They understand it's for themselves. They understand that this thing, no, I am doing it. We don't want to raise children that they will obey us because they are afraid. They will obey us because, oh, mommy will talk, mommy is there. No. Ben Carson said, even when the mom was not around, it never crossed their mind to disobey the woman. Imagine that. So that was why I started by asking this question. If you are not around, will your home run smoothly? Will your structure be like your children? They have the time they wake up and go to bed. Will they go to bed at that time? Will they wake up when they are supposed to wake up? Will they talk to each other nicely? You are not around. Will they say, okay, you say, oh, don't open the door for anybody? Will they open the door for people when you are not around? Let's talk about those things. Will they? When you are not around, will what? Because if when you are not around, they do these things, it simply means that, and they are not doing it out of fear, you have nurtured conviction. They understand these things. They uphold your values. But if you are not around, they don't do these things, it simply means that you have not been able to reach their heart. You have not nurtured conviction. That was why I say one of the things we can do for our children is actually to reach their heart, to nurture conviction. I can't stop. Each time I read that part, I am like, Ben was stubborn. He was super stubborn. You can see that he was stubborn. But at the same time, what? He was stubborn, he was reluctant. Initially, he was lazy about it all. He was giving excuses. But when his mom became consistent, when he knew that the mom meant what she said, what did he do? Shape up. That is it. Let me tell you something about structure. Next week, maybe we'll talk about why many times our structures don't hold. We'll talk about that next week. So he shaped up. He shaped up. So when you are consistent, your children, that's how mommy is. Mommy will say no. Mommy is just, this is it. You know. Now, it's not just about mommy will say no. They will understand why mommy says no. It is why I say to parents, I said so should never come from you. I know sometimes, yes, if you have children like mine, like my son, my 9-year-old, the kind of question he asks, even my daughter will be like, you can ask questions. Just pause and think before you ask questions. Then I will turn back and look at the person that is telling someone to pause and think before you ask questions. You telling your brother to pause and think before asking. Do you pause and think? Do you? And my older son that is 14 now, even when he asks, you explain. He wants to come and defend. So both of you will now be going back and forth. So, but as a parent, you cannot afford to say, I said so. You always give them a why. And that why must be, it is why last year it's not an emergency. This year we are nurturing conviction. Even this year, it is not an emergency. When we say it's not an emergency, it's not only when your child misbehaves, you want to beat, you say no, it's not an emergency. When they ask you a question, it's not an emergency because you need to think and make sure the response you are giving aligns with your values. And of course, you know that your values are ladders to your overall vision. So the answers you are giving must align with your value. So it is not an emergency. I'm trying to remember the question my son asked yesterday. They can just ask some kind of questions. Okay, this morning on our way to school, we were reading, they were reciting Psalm 91, and they got to, when they say perilous time, then pestilence and, I can't recite it right now. So pestilence and, so they were asking me, Mommy, what is pestilence? Every time, almost all these words, and my daughter was saying, instead of us to say pestilence, so why don't we just, so after I've explained to them what is pestilence, I said, let's start, pestilence, you have to break it into two, what is pest? Look at it, okay, when I say pestilence, and I explain, and she was then like, so instead of saying pestilence, why don't we just, so why don't we just use a simpler words? And I told that, okay, in that case, we have to look for another version of the Bible that simplifies better. If that's what you are more comfortable with memorizing, that is fine. What am I trying to say? Sometimes they ask questions, and you just want to say, I said so because I said so. But the thing is, I said so doesn't nurture conviction. I said so is you bullying, is you forcing, is not nurturing conviction. Because what you are telling them, what you want them to do, or what you want them to stop doing, or want them to start doing, or want them to stop doing, has a reason, has a why that reflects your values, that leads to the vision you all have in your head. So you must learn to take it. It is never an emergency. It is why you have a structure, because structure works against your mood. For example, if you have 3 times, we eat 3 meals a day. 3 meals a day, 3 healthy meals. That is what we eat a day in this family. Why? You tell your children, why are we eating 3 healthy meals a day? So once we have prepared the 3 healthy meals, you explain to them, not coming in between, eating in between meals. I tell my children that eating in between meals it shows that you are bored. You eat in between meals because you are bored, not necessarily because you are hungry. And when you use eating to make up for your boredom, it simply means that you have not used your brain to think creatively. It simply means you are using pleasure to make up for boredom. When you are not supposed to use pleasure to make up for boredom, you are bored means you are not thinking, you are not using your brain creatively. So when you are bored, what do? You go and channel that boredom into creativity. You go and look for what to do. You read a book, you draw, you paint, you craft, you crochet, you do anything. That is what people who are bored do. But when you now go and eat because you are bored, it simply means that you are now thinking pleasure. When you think, oh, I'm bored, I want to watch television, it simply means you are thinking pleasure. I know what that means. As you grow older, when people are bored, instead of taking the opportunity to become creative, take the opportunity to become self-pleasuring. So if you have that as you want to structure around your meal, there should be a strong why that relates, that ties around your values and vision. For your parents of preteens and teens, your children will understand if you can explain to them. Now, one thing you should remember that it's not just a one-off. It's not one-off. You just sit them down, you expect them to understand. Now, this is where parents get it wrong. You just sit them down, you explain, you expect them to understand and run with it. No. You have to keep teaching every day. You have to use events around you to teach. You have to make sure your structure is running as a structure. No to this is no to this. Bedtime is 8 o'clock. Structure is 8 o'clock. Why is bedtime 8 o'clock? It's 8 o'clock because you need to have a good number of sleep before you wake up. Why do you need to have a good number of sleep before you wake up? Your brain needs to be sharp. You need to be healthy. You need to wake up on time for school or for your activities. Of course, you know why your brain needs to be sharp. If you have a vision, your brain needs to be sharp. If you have a vision, you need to be healthy. You have a vision, school is tied around your vision. You need to wake up on time. You see where I'm going to. So that is how you begin to teach every single day. And at the end of the day, your structure will build your children's identity and nurture conviction in them. Thank you very much for joining me today. If you are not in the Visionary Parents Academy yet, I promise you that you are missing a great deal. You are missing a great deal. The academy is vibrant, is empowering. You learn, you take action, and you get results. It's empowering. You can ask questions, no matter what the question is, no matter how dumb you think it is, no matter how unintelligent you think the question is, You can always ask questions and you will get answers. You get answers, you get directions, you get guidance, and you put it into practice, and you are going to get results. Because I believe that parenting, yeah, we cannot be random, because we don't want random results. I always say this thing all the time. I remember when I finished was it my university? My daddy said to me one day, I was about finishing my university. My daddy said to me one day, this is my daughter. You like book a lot, because I've always liked book. You like book a lot. When I retire, I am going to put my money together for you to go abroad and further your studies. And before you could even say it, my mom just came and said, no, she's not. It's her husband's house that she would do that. If my dad had a vision of me going abroad to study, and then he did the work of sending me, I would have gone abroad to study. But my mom, who actually, because years later, my mom and I were talking, and she was like, of all my children, because I'm from Edo State, so if you know Edo with abroad thing, you know that there are 5 and 6. So years later, my mom was telling me, for my children, no one is abroad. Why now? So I was like, so you actually had a vision of one of your children should be abroad, and you did not do the work. You were expecting they will go abroad on their own. I mean, you are not, yes, my sister is there now. It happened that she is there now. What if that was what you had in mind, if that was your vision, you don't wing it, you deliberately walk towards it. Because when you wing it, it may not. So for my mom, she already had lamented, or she already lamented, maybe that's too much. She already had said, before my sister. So what if my sister had not gone? That her desire to actually have our child abroad, so that she too will go abroad for holiday, for all of that. If my sister had not, that desire wouldn't have come to pass. What am I trying to say? We all have visions. Don't wing it. Don't wing it. Be super intentional. Don't wing it. My grandmother used to say something that I don't know how to say it in proper English. Pikin when they pray for, life see they had them, let alone the one where they curse. You understand what I mean? Okay. I don't know how to explain the proper English. So what am I trying to say? So deliberately live intention. Be intentional. Put in the work. You have a vision. This is what you desire for your child. Put in the work. Don't wing it. Don't say, I beg, our parents didn't have to do this. My child will turn out well. See Mama Nkechi's son. See Mrs. Bolaji's daughter. They are not intentional. They are not doing anything. Their kids are already in school. Their kids are already doing well. Don't say that. You be intentional, because your path is different from their path. Be intentional. That's the last message I have for you today. And lastly, remember, nurture conviction in your children. It is about conviction and not force. When you threaten, you are forcing. When you flog, you are forcing. When you manipulate, you are forcing. Maybe tomorrow on Facebook, I'll go live talking about how we force our children, so that we can come around, pick our writing materials, and learn 12 o'clock the same time on Facebook, hopefully by the grace of God. So if you are not the Visionary Parent Academy, please send a message on how you can join, and you will be allowed, you will be registered in. I tell you, all what we have done so far this year, you are still going to have access to all the materials we have used, even the voice notes. If you want the voice note, you still have access to all the voice notes. Thank you very much for joining today. Have a fantastic day. See you next Tuesday by 12 noon, and see you in the Visionary Parent Academy. Bye-bye. What's happening now?